Tampa. It's July 24th. For those of you just joining us, welcome to Tampa Talk. I'm John.
And I'm Dahlia.
All right, what are we talking about?
Well, this week we've got millions of dollars headed toward affordable housing and neighborhood redevelopment through the community redevelopment agencies. Busch Gardens unveiling an impressive new lion and hyena habitat. Tampa International Airport making a major change to airport security, and a Rhode Island couple whose cruise vacation turned into something they weren't expecting. Plus, we'll be looking back at the legal creation of the town of Tampa, and we've got plenty of weekend events to keep it busy.
All right, well, first, this week in the work.
Well, for this week in the work, I feel like I've a little bit felt like the sky is falling, and I think that is maybe the business cycle of nonprofits sometimes.
Definitely been there.
Is the sky falling. And it's not just the financial aspect, it's sometimes, will we solve these issues? I think sometimes the task ahead just becomes very heavy, and you can get worked up with that.
There have been many times, where I felt like we were gonna have to shut the bike shop down. There's no way, or fire all the people. We can't keep it going. Frantic times, when we were trying to open the drop, where I was like, I don't think we're gonna be able to do this. Now, I do think, I know acutely how you're in this space right now. I'm trying to tell you, I'm familiar with it. I've been there a lot, but I'm in another space, which is I don't mean to rub it in, but because of the way the drop has been unfolding, it feels like a miracle. It feels like provision, like manna. So if you don't know what this reference is, there's this story in the book of Exodus in the Old Testament, the Jewish Bible. There's the Israelites are enslaved in Egypt, and they get set. If you ever see Prince of Egypt, it's a good telling of the story. They get liberated from slavery, and now they're out in the wilderness, and they're experiencing the wilderness where they're kind of some of them are hey, it's kind of better in slavery. We got lunch at least, but out there was this provision of this bread, bread that showed up in the morning that is you could eat, but you couldn't gather it. If you kept it overnight, it would go bad. So you had to trust in provision, in God, that every day that would be made available. And so this image has been in my mind. Manna is an incredible principle. I feel so much of what we do is manna economy, gift economy. You invest in the community and you trust that the community will look out for you, and this kind of stuff. But while I have this and I love this, I'm in the place right now where it's easy to say that. Mm-hmm. And it's encouraging me to be to a place where you're Chicken Little, but I also know how often I have been Chicken Little. Mm-hmm. I've been in the place where I go, the sky is falling, and I feel and I hate this, and I don't want this for you. I don't like this about myself. I feel it's the lesson I can never learn, because how many times, when COVID, there was no supplies, you couldn't get your hands on anything, tubes, tires, and then this Amazon warehouse that sold bike supplies closed and called us, and we got pallets full.
Yeah.
There's story after story of manna type stories where it's just and it came down on a cloud from heaven in our experience. And I think to myself, next time I'm going to remember. Somehow it always works out. Mm-hmm. But then when I'm in it, I'm this shit ain't gonna work out.
And honestly, I was on LinkedIn today and somebody posted, I'm going to do a bad job of quoting it, but basically something along the lines of you've got to work as if there is no God and then pray. You've
never heard me say this?
Oh, no. It's a common saying?
I don't know if it's common. I'm actually shocked that you haven't heard me say it. And I have not heard other people say it, but it has deeply shaped me. I heard it when I was young in faith, so early college maybe. I just kind of had that acid trip, come to God is real experience or whatever. Yeah, that's how I met God, y'all. And I went to some place where there was a preacher, church probably, and
generally where preachers could be found.
Yeah. But now I try to stay away from those places. But I heard a guy say, pray about it it's entirely up to God, and then work at it there's no such thing as God.
Right. It was something along those lines.
And I was that's the most powerful idea. And I actually think it was a set point for me. I believe that's kind of how I function. Mm-hmm. I do kind of work this is on us out here. But then even when I look at what we're doing, I look at the drop and I'm this is so far beyond us. Totally. This is so far beyond what we're capable of.
Yeah.
People and I'm yeah, we worked hard, but this is walking on water.
Yeah.
This is like God is. I am in a place where it's impossible to not be like, clearly, there's like God is real and blessing is behind us. It's just all unfolding in a way that feels so magical.
And you know what? This little it was like a little video on LinkedIn. It's like the School of Hard Knocks. Have you seen that guy come on LinkedIn and stuff? Mm-hmm. And he was interviewing someone, and the guy went on to say, like, after he used the framing of faith, he goes, and I just want to be explicit that even if you don't have like religious faith, it's like faith in something greater, faith in the work, like the work, faith in, I think he even said like faith in capitalism. Like, it was just because it's a business oriented video, but he was basically saying like, the act of hope is like what's so powerful, or the act of commitment to your task. I don't know. Hope's not the faith. The act of
no. I like this. I actually like this.
Most powerful thing, and I think that's like back to the story that you shared of maybe it was better in slavery because at least we were fed.
It's like I want to go back to the old ways.
Yeah,
like, where it was like it's like no, you don't. The open, unknown future is better than slavery. I would rather die out here in the wilderness. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And that is to be in the grip of a vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what you would call faith. I think faith is to be in the grip of something greater than you.
Yeah, that's actually the perfect.
Like, I don't have faith. Yeah. Faith has me.
Yeah.
Like, I am in its grip.
Yeah.
And hope to me isn't about outcomes either. It's not like, and this will all be great. Hope is not optimism.
Yeah.
Hope is like a posture in the face of, the sky is falling, but I will stand tall.
Mm-hmm. And then you stand tall, right? Because you don't just like fall down by yourself either, right? Like, you take a seat, or you know what I mean? It is an active decision to not be optimistic as well. And I think that's what a lot of people miss sometimes. Is like when it's hard to, when you tell somebody to have hope, they'll be like, okay, well, you know, I can't just have hope.
You just
like,
muster it. No,
yeah,
it is like,
I think you can. Like, I think you can just like.
It's a muscle. It's a muscle that you build. I believe it is a muscle that you build. I do hate that you're feeling this way, but I also kind of love it. So like you know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, this is where all the good stuff happens. I actually think it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to think it's going to be fine. I'm like, no, this is good for you. It's probably not going to be fine. Yeah. It's terrible.
And
Sky is falling.
It's the nature of the work, right? Like, it's not unique to me. It's not unique to any nonprofit. I do think it's not even unique to nonprofits, right? Like, I think business owners feel the same way. Like, you're constantly you're in the grasp of a vision, right? And so you have, it's hard to not be outcome oriented. It's hard to not feel like the sky is falling because you're individually working towards a goal. And I think the important thing is remembering that you're not in it by yourself. And I don't even just mean the people around you. That's a part of it, of course, but it's that like, collective step forward. It's that collective action forward, right? Like, it's the practice of doing the work that is valued in itself.
Also, have you ever heard of the discipline of fear setting? I think Tim Ferriss came up with this, but it's mostly like a great tool for people with anxiety. But the fear setting exercise, it's more personal, usually like the cascading, like, well, if I don't get the job, then I'm going to be broke, and then no one's going to love me, and I'm going to be homeless, and I'm going to live in a corner, and whatever. It's just like this cascading of, and people are fear and feeling all anxiety, which is a version of the sky's falling. And it's an exercise that goes, okay, cool. Let's just say all that happens. So you're not dead though. So like, well, then what?
Yeah.
And it's actually a writing exercise to go like, okay, well, but like, let's say you can't pay the bills. Let's say you can't make this happen. Let's say you do have to like close all your programs and pawn off all your things. It's like, yeah, but are you going to quit the game? Right? Or, and then you just sit and go, okay, what would I do? What would I be made of? What would I still have? I have a lot of relationships. I have, and it's actually like, and I've known people with like real, like generalized anxiety personally that use this as a tool all the time, where they're like, you know what? Actually, it's not the end of the world. The thing that feels like the end of the world isn't, and it was helpful to like figure out how. Like, you know what? I could stay on my friend's couch for a while, and I could probably get, you know, a lesser job over here, and like, yeah, life would be harder.
Kind of builds it back up. Yeah. Well, I'll leave the weekend work with one more quote.
Okay, good.
Heard, which was, you have no you have no responsibility to be the person you were today tomorrow, or something along those lines. So it's like, if today if everything works and tomorrow it all fails, like, you're actually not, like, nobody cares. No, you don't have the responsibility. Nobody cares if you are the person today that you are tomorrow. So like, and I think that it can go both negative and positive. So like sometimes I think people think they're this bad guy, and so they can't be good the next day because then they have this bad guy image. And it's like, no, tomorrow you can be a new person. Same thing goes in the positive, right? If you're this good person, you make a mistake and you're embarrassed, you're whatever, it's not working, and the next day you can be a good guy again. Like one day does not determine who the next day is. Each day is a new day, I guess is another way to say that. And I'll maybe start writing down these quotes because I obviously can't remember them.
Like it meant a lot when I heard of it. Yeah. We make, this is not related, but what comes to mind when you say that, and we should move on to like this week in Tampa history is like, but and this will be true of Tampa history, it's true of your history. Every decision you make is making you. So you are actually becoming something every day. You're not going to be tomorrow who you are today, but you will be a outgrowth of the decisions, the sum total of the decisions you make today. But you can get up and make different decisions
tomorrow. Yeah. And that was kind of the message. It's like each day is a new day, right? Like you have nothing that you do today means you have to.
If you've repeated the same destructive pattern for 20 years,
break it.
You could stop. Yeah, exactly. All right, take us into the history.
Yeah. So this week in Tampa history takes us all the way back to July 25th, 1848.
Yeah, it's one of those dates historians love because it's often referred to as Tampa's like legal creation. President James K. Polk signed an act of Congress granting Hillsborough County land from the Fort Brooke Military Reservation for the county seat and established what was called the town of Tampa.
And so it's worth pointing out that this wasn't the incorporation of the modern city of Tampa, which I actually believe is July 15th, because the only reason I know that is I was playing a trivia game with some friends, and that was a stat somebody could rattle off the top of their head. Yeah,
and that would have been in 1887 probably. This is where the municipal incorporation actually took place. But this 1848 action is really what gave Tampa its legal beginning as a town. It's kind of fun to think about before all the skyscrapers and sports teams and everything that it is. It all started with some congressional land grant overlooking Fort Brooke.
Yeah. Well, what about city council?
Yes, so city council's back, and they had a really busy Thursday this week with both a morning CRA meeting and an evening city council meeting. Now, since we record on Thursdays before the evening meeting takes place, or while it's taking place, we'll cover some of those results next week, but there was plenty happening at the CRA.
So one of the biggest items was approval of the fiscal year 2027 CRA budgets. Growth varied quite a bit depending on the district. Central Park led the way with nearly a 30% increase after major development recently came online. West Tampa grew by over 10%, and East Tampa increased by more than 7%. Drew Park, nearly 7%, while downtown actually saw a slight decrease.
Decrease, yep. And the board also approved roughly $15 million in redevelopment funding agreements. One project includes $5.4 million toward a 30-unit, and I'm going to put this in quotes, affordable housing development. Now, it technically qualifies, but and I'll just say me air quoting it is a little bit of this range that they come in. So the affordability ranges from 80 to 140% of area median income and a 50-year affordability commitment. I'm going to just go ahead and add some commentary here. When we talk about affordable housing, we have to get to 80 and below. This is just something like we don't make a lot of like stances on here, but I'm like, these numbers are actually quite high if you start looking up the AMI, these areas.
I was going to say, do you know the AMI? I have a rough idea.
It depends. Well, so the areas break down a little tighter than that, I think, depending on where they're at. So I don't know this particular unit. I won't be able to rattle this off, but I know it.
I think East Tampa is around the 30s is area median income compared to, I think, the city of Tampa, which is like as a whole, which I think is closer to like 80K.
When you start breaking out, because what I've looked at is the charts on where these land and rent, and I'm just going to say these are still quite high prices.
Yeah.
But they count as affordable housing. They do get subsidy because they're under affordable housing, and that's why the developer has to make a 50-year commitment to affordability within this price range. So as the AMI changes, this number adjusts to, yep.
And for people who don't know what a CRA does, you can think of things like grants for businesses in the area to improve their storefronts or improve their infrastructure. You can think about I'm trying to think of other projects. A lot of times community centers can be like looped into this kind of funding.
Kind of community reinvestment, redevelopment. Yeah. It's like, hey, look, there's a tax set aside that pools back into like underdeveloped places in neighborhoods to kind of increase their standing. And affordable housing is one of the ways that we have been excited to see those funds used for sure. So another $5.5 million was approved for improvements to Curtis Hickson Waterfront Park. Another $5 million supports a 76-unit affordable housing development with 10 permanent supportive housing units specifically reserved for individuals transitioning out of homelessness. I love that.
Also, there was an interesting property acquisition in West Tampa earlier this year. The West Tampa Citizen Advisory Council asked the CRA to explore purchasing the former liquor store at Albany in Maine. The owner agreed to sell below the appraised value, and this week the purchase moved forward for $700,000. The timing is especially notable because a fatal shooting occurred near the intersection on Father's Day. So the CRA's ownership gives them the opportunity to address longstanding blighted conditions and eventually determine a better future use for the site. Albany in Maine. I'm trying to think where that is.
Yeah, so West Tampa, like think down like Cohatch. Down the street
Cohatch.
between Cohatch and Publix.
Yeah, okay, I couldn't think of Albany, but yes, Maine. Tampa Airport changes security screening. So at Tampa International Airport, there's a pretty significant change coming to airport security.
Tampa has joined TSA Gold Plus, a new public-private partnership that replaces federally employed TSA screening officers with a private screening contractor. The TSA will still oversee regulations and security standards, but the day-to-day checkpoint operations will now be handled by private employees.
It's probably
oh yeah.
Yes, you know what I'm going to say. Airport officials say the goal is greater flexibility and modernization and fewer disruptions during potential federal government shutdown.
Not everyone is thrilled, as you would imagine. The union representing TSA workers says employees were caught off guard and have raised concerns about pay, accountability, and long-term security standards. It's definitely one we'll keep watching. I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion around this as implementation moves forward.
If you're looking for something a little more fun, Busch Gardens officially opened a brand new line in Hyena Ridge this weekend.
The 35,000 square foot habitat becomes the newest addition to Edge of Africa. Guests will get floor to ceiling view windows, interactive cave spaces, overhead bridges, and some incredible up close views of the animals. The habitat is home to 5 African lions, Pascal, Lou, Huge, Henry or Henri, and Herman, along with 2 spotted hyenas named Dazzy and Kazi.
I just think it's
sounds
wild that there's like lions behind my house there or whatever.
It's crazy when I live right across the street. I pull out and go down 40th and I see giraffes out there eating.
I know. It just always, it just rocks my world sometimes. But Busch Gardens says those 5 brothers will make up the largest lion coalition of any AZA accredited zoo in the country.
Yeah, it's another example of how parks are shifting toward more immersive experiences like these interactive cave spaces than simply a display of the animals.
There's a book about like a little girl whose grandfather works at a zoo as a zookeeper, and then the city like experiences war and like the zoo shuts down and all the animals are just left to like wander. And then the book goes like in the future, like 10 years, and like the remaining zoo animals still wandering. So you have like a lion in an environment that a lion would normally be
like in an urban
stuff.
setting, but like an abandoned urban setting.
An abandoned urban, but like there's still people living there. And anyways, it's such a good book. I'll think of the name of it, and I think it's so fascinating because that's what I just think about when I think about the lions behind.
Did you ever watch 12 Monkeys?
No.
12 Monkeys is an amazing movie that it's like a post-apocalyptic kind of thing, but there was this like army of the 12 monkeys, and they're like animal rights people. They released all the animals, but they let go of some like human-focused disease on the planet, so the humanity had to like go underground. So like long into the future, there's like this Bruce Willis character that needs to go to the surface. They've selected him. He's like a prisoner underground, and they're like, go see if it's livable. They put him in like a space suit, and he like pops out of the ground, and it's that scene. It's like an urban setting. There's like a lion walking across the bridge, and it's kind of
so cool.
Love that post-apocalyptic imagination.
Yeah, always has that zoo animal at the center of it, because what happens when you stop people stop caregiving for, otherwise.
Yeah.
For like.
Well,
wild animals that also don't belong
I
here.
guess maybe because there's no other predators, it might be fine if you stay in Tampa. But I know that I've heard that being in a zoo for all your life, it's actually why they can't. Like sometimes they're like, oh, there's SeaWorld closed and they're setting all the. Oh, they can't set them free. Actually, they have to put them in an estuary or whatever. Yeah.
Actually, that just happened. The Marine World in Toronto shut down a long time ago, but they've been holding these animals. Where do you put them?
They will be killed.
So they just moved into the Chicago Aquarium, like beluga whales or something like that.
Yeah.
This story is a little bit more disturbing. So Tampa police announced some developments this week involving 3 teenagers.
Yeah, this was horrific, disturbing news. Hit really close to home for some of us. According to investigators, a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 13-year-old have been charged with attempted murder after attacking multiple people experiencing homelessness because, in their own words, they were bored. Police say the attacks began around 2:30 a.m., so 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 16-year-old, on Nebraska and MLK, 2:30 in the morning. The group approached a man and a woman on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and began hurling rocks at them. The woman suffered a head injury. I believe the way I heard this is later, so that wasn't reported, but later that morning, officers found an unhoused man on Nebraska Avenue with like very serious injuries, basically left for dead with traumatic brain injury. And then because of that, police in the area found the woman and the other man that had been attacked. So they had jumped 3 homeless people throughout the evening. That man, this older Latino man, still remains hospitalized. He's on a ventilator. And I did talk to some of the homeless liaison officers. I was trying to get the names they haven't released the names of the victims, but I want to know if we know them.
Yeah,
I'm like, I haven't heard their names yet. And I was talking to one of the homeless liaison officers and so I won't be surprised. He's like, this guy's barely hanging on. So these could very likely become murder charges here quite soon. It's not looking good.
No, it's really sad to hear that these wonder kids like that have this violence in them, and then 2 that their excuse is boredom. Like the fact that that is a very distanced perspective of what homelessness is, and it's like almost like playing with a doll.
Well, yes, yes, and we were just talking about like dystopian future image, at least with the 12 Monkeys. I don't think yours was exactly that, but to me, this is such a caricature. It's a horrific story, but symbolically important to me, where I'm like, what society has the product that is vulnerable old folks that have nowhere to sleep and youth with no guidance wandering these environments in the middle of the night doing violence out of boredom at 13 years old.
Yeah.
And it's like this, it's too symbolically powerful for me to go like bored kids violently attacking vulnerable, poor people sleeping on sidewalks. Yeah. And to go like, if you only had this as context, be like, now tell me the world this is happening in.
Yeah.
It's too powerful. It has like religious significance to me, where I was like, this is almost too painful to read. So, by the way, while I think that I probably know at least one of these people that were attacked, I don't know, but odds are we probably know them. But then I was like, odds are that the football coach that we both know probably knows the boys and does know one of them. Mm-hmm. And it was like, and it's just like, we're out here trying to work with these populations, but these populations are in bad shape. Mm-hmm. And this is like the encounter of these two people groups that are fucked and forgotten by so much of our society, and then it's happening to one another between. This is just like, it was too much for me when I read this.
Yeah, I hate it when I see it. We've reported a couple different times where the person behind the weapon, whether that be a real weapon or just like their own fist, was a 14-year-old kid, and it's just it sucks to.
Well, that football coach I was talking about was telling me too. He's like, actually, 13 and 14 is probably the most dangerous of all of the like thugs, because developmentally, and I remember I wasn't scared. I'd jump my bike off anything. Like, you're not smart enough yet to know how bad you could be hurt, and it's that age, and like right into puberty, aggressive enough but dumb enough, and he's like, no, it's that age. Like the ones that are gonna like pull a gun and use it. It's right in that age. It's a very dangerous kind of place. Like, it's a hard place for all of us growing up through that. But then you're like given these certain conditions and circumstances, and but yeah, I mean, I won't be surprised. This is just prediction, but like I would not be surprised to see this turn to a murder charge, and when it goes to court, to see them tried as adults, which is also horrific. But then like where they end up going to prison, what that means for them, and it's just. This is all bad. Bad.
There's no silver lining to it.
No, but there is a point of it's at least worth some accolades. The police did find this body, and then they did find this other victim to get the information of these boys, and they found them quickly. I mean, it was 2:30 when the first one happened, 7:30 when they first found out something was going on. But then they found the people who had been attacked, and then like within hours had these boys in custody to hopefully stop this like continuing. And so I'm like,
yeah, somewhere it's serial, right? Would you've attacked?
That's exactly what this was. Yeah.
Well, no, if it's fun one night, it might be fun the next night, right? And that's actually where you breed longer term resentment and issues in the community, right? If a group of people is consistently being attacked by a group of people.
You know, one of the women came into the drop, and I don't know that this is connected at all, but she's like, man, these boys were messing with me in the park last night. And I don't think it was the same timing, but like, and I don't even know that she had heard the news.
Yeah.
She was just worked up, like people effing with me.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, man, like, and then imagine sleeping out there and reading this.
Yeah.
And then now you got to go sleep tonight. You know?
I mean, I can't imagine sleeping out there, period. What goes on.
Especially in this weather. Yeah.
Well, hopefully this can leave us on a little bit of a positive note. Positive note. So, a Rhode Island couple came to Tampa for a cruise, and instead they went home with a baby. So the couple stopped at HCA Brandon Hospital after the expectant mother experienced severe stomach pain. Doctors informed her she wasn't sick. She was, in fact, in labor.
Yeah, so apparently neither knew that she was pregnant, which is just, how's that a thing?
Sometimes it happens.
I've heard
a couple different stories, yeah.
She had been on birth control, hadn't experienced any obvious symptoms. Just hours later, they welcomed a healthy baby boy and named him Sebastian, which is a great name for a baby born on the boat.
Honestly, I think this is ideal. Like, if you can go 9 months and never know you're pregnant and then just pop out a baby.
All of a sudden, a surprise baby.
Yeah.
So the family members have actually already nicknamed Sebastian Cruz.
Cute.
Which is a good name.
Yeah, so that's a little change in their vacation plan.
Yeah, like, I can call him Souvenir.
Yeah. Events going on this weekend. We have Bier Fest Brews BBQ over at Busch Gardens. Cost is included with park admission, and so you can enjoy it Saturday or Sunday through August 30th.
Yeah, that should be good, man.
Red Wedding Zoo is still taking place over at Lowry Park through the end of July. So you can go on Fridays or Mondays to kind of, get some patriotic themed swag and games going on around the zoo.
Lots of things around the zoo.
Dome After Dark is still going on over at the Dolly Museum for $30. And so this is a Surreal Nature is the name of the exhibit. And it is just experiences you to invite and slow down and, imagine a utopian world around you.
All right, well, thanks so much for spending a little time with us this week. If you enjoy Tampa Talk, please do share it. Please rate the show. Please comment. Any engagement helps. If you go to any of the events or you have any stories you want us to share, please message us at WellBuilt.city on Instagram. You can get a link directly to the show, tampatalk.xyz. It'll take you to the video podcast on Spotify. And if you want this to show up in your inbox every Friday morning at 6 a.m. with a link to the video podcast, you can subscribe at wordonthestreets.xyz. And that email will also have links to all the stories that we talk about.
All right. Well, that's what we're talking about, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And until next time,
y'all be good.